has been 8 weeks since we got the Squaddie 2.0 update with the huge progression change. But is the progression now really better than in the past? Let's compare the old system with the new one, and let's compare this one with the hero progression system. And with that said, thank you everybody for being here again, really appreciate it. The time is flying as we're already 8 weeks inside of the 2.0 version. And with that we got the progression change, and this is the result of it. We can see it here for the case of the battle healer, and I have to say it got kinda complicated to explain if we compare this one to the old one. The old one was pretty straight up, as it took 10 characters from the current stage to develop to the next stage. So 10 babies were one classic, 10 classics were one super, and so on. And that led that an ultimate character, if that was the max form, did cost us 10,000 babies, and that was hell of a grind to get, while Ultra 1000 babies was 10 times easier to achieve. Nowadays it got way more complicated. We need now 30 babies to get one classic and 15 classics to get one super, while we need then 6 supers to get one ultra and only 3 ultras to get one ultimate. So as you already can see there, the first stages are now harder to get comparing it to the old version. And that leads that we need 450 babies for one super and 2700 babies for one ultra version of a character. But only 8,100 babies to get one ultimate. So overall we need 1,900 less babies than comparing it to the past to max out a character to the ultimate form. And that's a huge W. I mean, 20% less progression needed to max out someone, that is definitely really good. If you have enjoyed the video so far, then definitely don't forget to leave a like and subscribe completely for free to my channel to not miss any Squaddie content in the future. But you can see where now the struggle is. The struggle is now at 3 and 4 star, as it is taking much longer comparing it to the old version. 4.5 times longer for a super and 2.7 times longer for one ultra character. And comparing now the character ultra from now to the past, we can see in the past ultras were pretty good to get and pretty easy to get. Now it's taking much longer, and that is a huge thing I don't like too much, because the success feelings for a new player while developing the characters and getting a first time an ultra is taking away longer, and maybe too long, that the player really wants to stick to the game. Like, what is the win if a player would stop before getting one ultra, so he would not get in the charm of getting an ultimate because he would have stopped playing before getting that success feeling? So that's the thing I don't like at the current system. But is that really a solid concern? Well, it is not, because most of the characters on 4 star are just getting the second stage of the active ability. And since we only can use 2 active abilities in parallel, well, we can focus just on a few squaddies to get them to 4 star, and all the other ones can remain on 3 star, because on 3 star is where most of these squaddies already have a super good passive. Like here, Goblin, we're getting 8 coins there, and on 5 star it will be 12. So yes, that is definitely an improve, but comparing it to the old system, it is not that much needed to get 4 star and 5 star characters comparing it to the 1.0 version. In 1.0 version we got there, for example, the Crazy Barbarian, with getting a little baby as an additional squaddie to your squad when reaching 5 star, and you got even multiple babies when getting multiple barbarians in the game. Or the Hawk Rider, which was supplying you kinda a unique attack speed boost on 5 star. So in the past those 5 star units have been pretty broken, and there have been some others like the Witch which were completely useless on 5 star. And that is now definitely better, since on 3 star we are most likely getting a good passive. Like, we unlock it on 1 star, we're getting a good improvement on 3 star, and on 5 star is most of the cases just an improved 3 star version. So a 3 star player can definitely have already the profit of a good passive ability, while it is getting for sure better on 5 star. But the difference in between 3 and 5 star is not as huge as it has been in the past, and that's a huge W. So yes, overall the progression got easier to reach 5 star. It got a little bit harder to get 4 star, but on 3 star is most of the cases for your squaddies the goal you want to reach to have a really good developed squaddie. And a pretty good example for that is the Wizard. If you compare 5 star, yes, 5 star ability, we can recharge our powers 25% faster, which is a huge W. On 3 star, it is at least a 15%. So 3 star, and comparing now 3 star afford 450 babies to 8,100, well, the 3 star is pretty easy to get, especially also for new players. And we will have already a super good ability, which we can use as a passive there. And on 5 star for sure it is getting better, but comparing now the afford from 5 to 3 star, Well, this is kinda a good progression, because on 3 star we already unlocking a main part of that power, and on 5 star, which is taking much longer, it's just getting a little bit better. And that's the case for most of these squaddies. So to sum it up a little bit, yes, 4 star Ultra is much harder to reach than in the past, but you don't really need all of them to get to 4 star, and 5 star and overall is a little bit easier to achieve, but 5 star is just most likely a buff of the 3 star passive ability. So I kinda like the new progression system, even though it is getting harder for new players in between to reach 3 and 4 star comparing it to the old version. And beside that we got the heroes, and if you compare the hero progression to the squaddie progression, it's completely different. Squaddies are developing kinda in a linear way, so as soon as you unlock a squaddie you can get the babies from that one, and you're getting almost the same amount over the time for all of those squaddies, besides star chest where we can select the squaddie we want to get. And with that we got kinda a good progression over all these squaddies which we have in our team. For heroes it is a little bit different, as we got the shared hero point pool, which we only can apply to one hero at a time. So if we max out one hero, we can't max out the other heroes in time, and that's not too good comparing it to the squaddie progression. But what now the good thing is that it takes around 2 to 3 months with all the daily missions and events to max out a single hero, and then we can focus the next one. And since we only can use one hero at a time, well, we can max out one hero pretty soon after starting the game, and with that we can use that maxed out character and will have a pretty good chance in our matches. And then there was the Sonic event, which led that we could max out one hero for free within a duration of 3 weeks. And that's a huge W, especially again for free-to-play players. You don't have to pay anything to get this character maxed out. And that leads that in the first 8 weeks of the update, all of us guys have 2 maxed out characters if we did play actively throughout that duration. And that's a huge W. But there's one big issue which I right now have, and I am talking now to you as a maxed out player, and also my free-to-play account is almost maxed. And if we think back on the progression, if we have stored the 3-star characters in the past, well, we had a very easy way to get a maxed out 5-star character, as we needed only the 1800 babies if we could manage to save all of our supers and not go for the ultra characters. And that led that many of us are now maxed out, and that is a kinda like where the struggle is right now, because there's no goal to grind to max out all of our squaddies since they are all maxed out anyway, and heroes we are limited to the daily missions and events. So right now there's kinda a limitation for our progress. Yes, we can collect those those star tokens here, and I have collected almost 90,000, and that means if they would add 1, 2, 3 new units with a max form of 4 or even 5-star, I will be able to straight max them out, and I don't like that too much. So I really hope that we're gonna see something which would help us grind every day. It does not need to be babies, maybe some further hero points or any masteries or something. And that is the biggest concern I have right now. The daily incentive to play, especially as a maxed out player. And if we now check out our squaddies here, yes, there are still a lot of squaddies which don't have a 5-star version. But thinking on the 5-star, well, we now need only 2 further ultras, because we already got 1 ultra, to max out those squaddies. So just a 5th star is not too crazy the effort we need comparing it to the past, as we need 5,400 additional babies. In the past, it would have been additional 9,000 babies. So the progress from one character, which is from 4-star to 5-star now, is insanely easier to achieve than in the past, and that's a good thing. And that will for sure change if we will get a new bunch of new squaddies in the future, which we then have to max out straight from baby to hopefully the ultimate version. So overall, the progression got definitely better than in the past. The early and mid game is a little bit harder to develop, but you don't really need those 4 stars for most of your characters. So overall, the complete progression system is now much better than in the past, according to my opinion. And the hero progression is also feeling kinda rewarding, no cap there. Like, we got already 2 maxed out characters and could even, as a pay-to-win player, max out our 3rd character, the Barbarian King. And talking about that, if we get more future heroes like the Spike, that will be some good progress throughout the weeks and some further development and maxing out heroes. But in the long run, I think we are missing something, maybe a new Squaddie stage, or in general more new Squaddies or a different hero progression system, but that's part of the future. So hopefully you have enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys for watching and happy busting.